All right, boys and girls, in this video, we're going to go over lesson 2-3. This is the main math message for the day. So if you missed school, you can use this video to help you catch up. Or if you were struggling with what we were working on in class, you could watch this video to kind of reinforce and review what we did. All right, in this math message, we're going to work on solving addition and subtraction number stories with pictures or diagrams. Okay, so basically we're working on some word problems and we're going to be making sure that we use pictures or diagrams to help us to solve those problems. All right, so boys and girls, first we're going to do a couple of problems together. Now these aren't in your workbook, so I'm just going to need you to have out a blank piece of paper and pencil or maybe a whiteboard and a marker, and we're going to work out these problems together. So if you don't have those things, go ahead and pause the video and grab those things. In a little while, we're also going to need your workbook. So maybe pause the video, grab paper and pencil or whiteboard and a workbook. Okay, now hopefully you are all prepared to go. Let's look at this first problem. Now remember, we talked about when we have word problems, reading the problem carefully, really looking for that information. What do I know? What do I need to know? Sometimes drawing a picture really helps me to kind of at least sort out what I already know. So let's look at this problem. It says that Trong had $15 in his piggy bank. He earned money by walking his neighbor's dogs for 2 weeks, and now he has $60 in his bank. How much money did he earn? So I'm going to read it again slowly, but I'm going to start drawing pictures of what I know. I see that it says Trong had $15 in his piggy bank. So I know this is going to be something important. I'm just going to simply draw $15, and I'm just going to put it in a box, and I'm just going to say bank. Okay, this is what he had in his bank. Now, the problem says that he earned money by walking his neighbor's dog. So this is going to be important. I know that he's earning money. Now, it doesn't say how much money, but this is going to be important. So I'm going to do another box, and I'm just going to say earned. This is the money he earned. And because it doesn't tell me how much, I'm just going to put a question mark there. And it says now he has $60 in his bank. So I'm going to draw another box and I'm going to say 60. And this is in his bank. But what's the difference between this bank and this bank? Well, this is what he had and this is what he has now. All right, so boys and girls, the question says, how much money did he earn? I'm trying to figure out this part right here, what he earned. So anytime I have a money word problem, money word problems are perfect for the start, change, end model because you're starting with a certain amount of money. Then something's happening to that money. You're either spending it or you're getting more, and then you end up with a different amount of money. So I'm just going to kind of put those numbers right into this start, change, end diagram. Started with 15, earned some money. When I earn money, what kind of math is that? I'm adding, right? And I'm going to put plus question mark, and then I'm ending with $60. Now I love this start, change, end diagram because it's perfect for making a number model. All I got to do is just put those numbers up there and put an equal sign right there. Okay, there's my number model. 15 plus something equals 60. I'm starting out with 15, I'm adding something, and I'm going to end up with 60. Now pause the video, try to work out this problem and see if you can get the correct answer, then start the video and I'll give you a couple strategies that I would do to figure this out. Okay, so here's what I would do to figure it out. To me, this problem is perfect for an open number line. I'm starting with $15, and then I'm ending with $60. I'm going to jump the amount of money it takes to get there. That's going to tell me how much I earned. So I'm going to jump by easy numbers or two easy numbers, and I'm going to first jump 5. That's going to get me to 20. Because 15 plus 5 is 20. Now this is easy math. To go from 20 to 60, that's an easy jump of 40. When I put these two jumps together, my answer is 45. And remember, don't forget to label it with your unit. It's $45. I got to put my dollar symbol in front of my number. A lot of times boys and girls want to write it like this, $45, because that's how we say it. But that's not the correct way to write it. We always put the dollar symbol in front of our number. Oops, let's just rewrite that there. So we should have $45. Okay? So this was my favorite strategy for solving this problem. All right, let's look at another problem together. All right, this problem here says there are 43 children in soccer club and 25 children in science club. How many fewer children are in science club? All right, let me read it again slower, and I'll start drawing a picture. It says there are 43 children in soccer club. No, I'm just going to put 43, and I'm going to label this soccer. And then it says there are 25 children in science club. Okay, so I'm going to draw another box and I'm going to put 25 and label that science. Do you see, guys, how my picture doesn't have to be fancy? It's just, I'm just plopping down the information I know. So I can step back and now I can look at this information without a bunch of words. Now my question is, how many fewer children are in science club? This word right here is a really big clue word of what I'm going to do. When you hear how many fewer, or maybe how many greater, or how many more, or how many less, boys and girls, you are comparing. You're comparing two different things. When I'm asking how many fewer, how many greater, how many more, how many less, I'm comparing. You know what I'm doing? I'm finding the difference. And we've talked about this a couple of times. When we are finding the difference between two numbers, what are we doing? We're subtracting. So guys, this is a very big clue word right here that this is going to be a subtraction problem. Okay, so look at this diagram up here at the top. This is the perfect diagram for this problem. The quantity difference. I'm finding the difference between two numbers. Check out this diagram. You see how this box is big? I'm going to put my bigger number in there. So I'm going to put 43 in there. This is my smaller box. So I'm going to put my smaller number in there. And now, guys, I'm just finding the difference between those two numbers. That's subtracting. I mean, look, if I were to take this box of 43 and I subtract the 25 part, aren't I going to end up with the other part? Okay, so it's just finding the difference. So my number model is going to be 43 minus 25 equals question mark. All right, now guys, go ahead and pause the video for a minute. Go ahead and solve 43 minus 25, and then start the video back, and we'll talk about a couple of strategies. All right, a couple of ways that I like to solve subtraction. Now, I know that your parents are going to want to have you do this. If you're doing this lesson at home, your parents are going to tell you to do this, and then they're going to do all of this crazy fancy stuff. They're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and then they're going to do this, and then they're going to do this, and you're probably going to get a little bit confused. Now, if you understand what mom and dad are doing, fine, do it. I'm okay with that. And I promise you, we are going to learn this strategy really soon. But we're not quite there yet. I still need you to just understand place value, understand tens and ones, and understand what subtraction is all about. So I would rather you draw out base 10 blocks. That's one good strategy. I'm going to draw out 43, 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to subtract 25. All right, so I can go ahead and subtract 20, and now I need to subtract 5. The problem is I don't have enough ones. So I'm going to come over here and borrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to put 10 ones over there. Now I can subtract 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I left with? I'm left with 110 and 8 ones. 110, 8 ones, what does that make? 18. Now I got to label my unit. 18 what? Go back to your question. How many fewer children? So we're talking 18 children. All right, now maybe base 10 blocks aren't your favorite strategy. I have another favorite. This is actually my favorite strategy. Besides the old-fashioned way. I like the old-fashioned way, which we're going to learn real soon. But here's the strategy I like. Do you remember when we were finding the difference between two numbers in the unit 1? What were we using? We were using the number grid, right? And we would start with a small number, and we would jump to the big number, and we'd find the difference. I can do the same thing, but maybe I don't have a number grid. An open number line, we can do the exact same thing. So if I have a subtraction problem and I'm trying to find the difference between two numbers, start with the small one and jump to the big one. Now, just like on my number grid, I can jump by tens and then jump by ones. So first I'm going to jump 10. That gets me to 35. If I jump 10 again, that's going to get me to 45, and that's too far. So now I'm going to jump my ones. Let's see here. I need to get to 43. So what if I jumped 5 ones to get to 40, and then jump another 3 ones to get to 43? And when I add all of my jumps together, I get 18. All right, so finding the difference. Subtraction, I'm going to have you stick with maybe 2 different strategies for now. Either draw out your base 10 blocks and subtract them, or draw an open number line, start with a small number, and jump to the big number. Or use a number grid to do that if you have a number grid in front of you. We just don't always have a number grid in our back pocket. All right, boys and girls, what I'm going to ask you to do now is turn in your workbook. And so if you don't have your workbook in front of you right now, you can go ahead and pause the video for a minute, go get your workbook, and then come back to it. We are going to work on page 38 and page 39. Okay, so maybe you need to print your workbook pages. You can go to my web page and you can print these pages so that you have them ready. Okay, so hopefully you have those pages ready. I want you to go ahead, you know what, go ahead and solve problem 1, 2, 3, and 4 on those 2 pages. Go ahead and try to work these problems out on your own. So pause the video and then come back and we'll check them together. All right, so looking at number 1, it said Cleo had $37, then Jillian returned $9 that she borrowed. How much money does Cleo have now? Now guys, again, if you have money problems, start, change, end is going to be your best friend. This diagram right here. Because you can put in how much money you started with, you can write down what changed, and then you can write down what you're ending with. So Cleo had $37. That's what he's starting with. Now something happened. It says Jillian returned $9 she had borrowed. If she returned $9, she's giving it to him. So he's getting more money, right? I'm adding. How much adding? Well, I'm adding 9. And then the question is, how much money does he have now? That's the question. So I'm going to put my question mark there. Now I'm going to take these numbers and put them up top in my number model. 37 plus 9, and then I just got to put the equal sign, question mark. And right there, it tells you exactly what to do with those numbers. If you plug those numbers into the right spots on the start, change, end diagram, right there is your number model, and it tells you what to do. So this one should be real simple. Hopefully you already worked out that problem. 37 plus 9. If I were figuring that problem out, I'd probably think, well, 37 plus 10 equals 47, and I just need to take off 1 because 9 was 1 less. So my answer should be 46. And we're talking money, so $46 would be your answer. Now, it asked you how you know that that makes sense. And I know that this makes sense because my answer should be bigger than what I started with. If I accidentally subtracted these numbers, then my answer would be less than what I started with. And I know that my answer should be more. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2 says Audrey had $61 in her bank account. She took out $48. How much money is left in her account? Again, money. Start, change, end, right? Audrey had $61. So that's what she started with. Now, what happened to her money? Well, it says she took out 48. When I'm taking out money, what kind of math am I doing? Subtracting, right? Subtracting the 48. How much money is left in her account? Well, I don't know. I'm going to put a question mark. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Guys, this is also a big clue. When you see the word left in a word problem, that's a really big clue that you're going to be subtracting. Okay? So, again, all I got to do is take this, and this is my number model. Put it right up here. 61 minus 48 equals question mark. It's a subtraction problem. Okay? 2 ways to do subtraction that I like. Base 10 blocks. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 1. And I'm going to take away 48. 10, 20, 30, 40. I can't take away 8. I don't have enough. So I'll trade for 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can subtract my 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do I have left? I've got 1 10 and 3 ones. So I've got 13. 13 what? $13. All right, let me do 61 minus 48 another way. Instead of the base 10 blocks. Again, subtraction, I'm finding the difference between two numbers. Draw an open number line. Start with your small number. Jump to your big number. Jump by 10s, then jump by 1s. So 48 plus 10 is 58. And now I'm going to jump my 1s. Now I can jump 1 at a time, or I can jump a couple at a time. I'm going to jump 2 to get to 60, because that's easy math. And then from 60 to 61 is only one more jump. Put all of these jumps together, 10 plus 2 plus 1, and again, I've got my $13. Now I want to know if that makes sense. Okay? Maybe the number one mistake boys and girls do is they'll just take these two numbers and they might do the wrong operation. They're supposed to subtract and maybe they added. Or they're supposed to add and then they subtract. So what would have happened if I would have added 61 and 48? I would have gotten a big number, right? More than 100. Would that make sense? It says how much money is left in her account. Does it make sense to have more than $100 left in her account when she spent some? So my answer makes sense because I know that my answer should be less than my numbers in the problem because I took out that 48. All right, let's go to number 3. It says Pedro had 70 cents, so he had 70 cents. He bought grape juice. Now, what happens when you buy something? You lose money, right? Okay, and he had 25 cents left. Again, that word left, I'm probably going to be subtracting, right? That's a very big clue. Also, it's a very big clue when you buy something that you're going to be subtracting. Now, if you want to know how to get that number model, remember the number model has to match what's going on in the problem. We talked about how a model airplane or a model car is going to look just like a real airplane or look just like a real car. Well, your number model should look exactly like your word problem. I should have the number 70, I should have the number 25, and then I should have a question mark in there somewhere because I'm trying to figure something out. Now I got to figure out what to do with those numbers. Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Again, money, perfect for start, change, end. He had 70, that's what he started with. What happened to that money? Well, he bought something. So I know I'm going to subtract. How much am I going to subtract? The problem doesn't tell me, so I'm going to put a question mark. And then it says he had 25 cents left. So that's what he's ending with. Okay? Now, there's my number model. I've got 70 minus something equals 25. Now, boys and girls, I already have enough problems with subtraction. Subtraction I've shared with you. It's tough for me, and it's tough for many of you guys. We make the most mistakes a lot of times with subtraction. So it's really hard for me when I'm thinking, okay, I've got to subtract something, but I don't even know what I have to subtract. How am I supposed to subtract when I don't even know what to take away? Remember, think of your fact families. It's okay to change this into 70 minus 25 equals question mark. In a subtraction problem, you're allowed to switch these numbers around. You just can't switch this big number that's in front of the subtraction symbol. Okay? But again, subtraction, I can either draw my base 10 blocks, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and take away 25, 10, 20. Oops, I don't have any ones. Let's trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take away 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I left with? 45. 45 what? Now this one isn't dollars, this one is cents. So my cents symbol does go after. The dollar symbol goes before the number, the cent symbol goes after. All right, or boys and girls, I could have done number grid difference again. Again, I'm subtracting. I could draw an open number line, start with my small number, and jump to my big number. Okay, this time I'm going to jump a little different. I'm going to jump 5 first to get to an easy 30. And then I'm going to jump 40 to get from 30 to 70. Again, though, my answer is 45. Now, how do I know that my answer makes sense? If I would have added these two numbers together, if I would have added 70 and 25, I would have gotten 95 cents. Does it make sense that he spent 95 cents? Well, no, he only had 70 cents to start with, so it doesn't even make sense that he would have spent 95 cents. Okay? All right, let's move on to number 4. It says Nikhil had $40 in his wallet when he went to the carnival. When he got home, he had 18. Well, how much did he spend at the carnival? Again, he had money. Something happened to it. What does he end with? So he had $40. And then when he went to the carnival, what happens when you go to the carnival? You're spending money, right? Does it say how much money he spent? It doesn't. So I'm going to put a question mark. And then when he got home, he had $18. So that's what he ended up with. All right, so here you have your number model is made for you. You started with 40. You spent something at the carnival, we don't know how much, and then you're ending with $18. So you're going to put your number model, 40 minus something equals 18. All right, again, oh my goodness, subtraction is hard enough, but let alone when I don't even know what I'm supposed to be subtracting. So go ahead and switch these numbers around if you want to. 40 minus 18 equals question mark. That is okay to do that. It's a fact family. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and use my open number line. I'm going to start with 18 and I'm going to jump to 40 and see what that is. 18, I'm going to go ahead and start with 2. 18 plus 2 is 20, and then 20 plus 20 is 40. So when I put those two together, my answer is 22. Now, we're talking dollars this time, so I'm going to put my dollar symbol up here. All right, now again, guys, to see if this makes sense, if I would have accidentally added instead of subtract, I just thought, well, I see a 40, I see an 18, I'm just going to add those numbers together. Well, my answer would have been 68. Does it make sense that he spent $68 at the carnival when he only started with 40? Okay, so always stop to see, does my answer make sense for what I'm supposed to be doing? All right, guys, that is it for lesson, what are we on, 2-3. We're working on word problems. Draw a picture, use these diagrams so that you can sort out what you know and what you need to know and figure out which operation you need to use.